The Last Dinosaur from 1977 has one of the greatest theme songs of all the movies. It mentions that he is the last dinosaur several times. Who is he? The last dinosaur. Well, it opens with our hero, Maston Thrust, one of the greatest names in movie history. Maston Thrust. That just sounds like a name of power. Maston Thrust. That's what Homer Simpson should have named himself instead of Max Power. He should have named himself Maston Thrust. Showing a woman he just had sex with all the animals he's killed, and then gives him a photograph book of more animals he's killed. And then they go on a plane with a fireplace, which seems like a bad idea, starting a fire on a plane. But I'm going to trust Maston Thrust. That sounds like a name you can put trust in. And then he sends the girl back home to Portland because he's Maston Thrust. That sounds like it should be written on the side of a dildo somewhere. Maston Thrust. I love saying it, so I'm gonna say it a bunch in this video. Also called small penis. So then we get to his job, the business that he owns, and we're told they found a T-Rex in Antarctica, where they were drilling for oil with lasers. Now, lasers in the 1970s weren't powerful enough to drill for oil. They were powerful enough to produce light, but we're not going to get into that. And him and the doctor who wants the T-Rex photographed and studied, and the survivor from the group that found the T-Rex, Chuck, and Frankie, the photographer and female of the group, because there's always a woman, and always has to be a woman. Can't have a movie of all guys. That's just weird. So they found a T-Rex, and they get in one of the polar things with one of the polar bear boars with the laser, and they go to Dinosaur Land in Antarctica. Why is it always in Antarctica, anyways? Why can't it be in the Arctic? There are bears in the Arctic. You could have a bear fight a T-Rex. Or a bear fight a raptor. Bear versus raptor could be a good fight. Anyways, we're getting off topic. Along with Punta, the Masai or Messi, he's a tracker. So I tell the doctor to set up camp. The rest of them are going to go track the T-Rex. Well, they don't take anything to like capture the T-Rex, because I'm not sure what it would take to capture a T-Rex, but I'm pretty sure it would take a lot more gear than they're carrying. They don't take anything to study the T-Rex, because Frankie's got her camera, and they don't got like equipment to like measure footprints or anything like that. But they do have guns with them. Now this Maston Thrust has a gun with him, and Punta has a spear with him. So I don't. So take that in mind. So when they run into a T-Rex, Maston Thrust tries to shoot it, and Punta throws his spear into it, which anyone who knows anything about T-Rexes know that would just piss it off. It would kill it. It would just piss it off, and it does. And so it goes and kills the doctor and destroys their camp. And it takes the polar bear because it looks like a fun toy for its kid. So then they get back and they're like, we must kill the T-Rex. At least that's what Master and Thrust says. Well, the rest of them are like, we should find a polar bear. And Master and Thrust is like, no, killing the T-Rex is our priority. And they're like, with what? We have nothing now. And he's like, I will build a weapon. And it's like, this is a T-Rex. This isn't like a dog. You can't kill it with a spear. You've got to actually have something, a weapon. So they go out and they build spears and they get in a fight with the natives, the native cavemen, over game. And then Maston Thrust builds a crossbow. And that takes care of the natives. But once again, a crossbow will not kill a T-Rex. So then they move on to where game is more plentiful, and they meet Hazel, their cave woman who's a friend of theirs. And Hazel is really not important to the plot. But they had to introduce cave people to the movie. So they keep moving on, getting plentiful game. And Frankie gets trapped in a cave by the T-Rex. And they tie the T-Rex's tail to a rock and send the T-Rex falling down a hill by taunting it so it runs after them and it drags the rock down the hill. But the T-Rex survives. And Maston's like, now is the time to track it and kill it. So they build a catapult with a big rock in it. Well, soon, Chuck, who's the guy who survived from the last expedition, finds the polar bear and is like, I can fix it. We can go home. And Maston Thrust is like, no one's going home. We have to kill the T-Rex. I want its head on my wall. I want its tail on my wall. I want its feet on my wall. I want its dick on my wall. So Frankie and Chuck go to Poor Bear and are fixing it. And fix it. Meanwhile, Punta and Maston run off Hazel and are going to kill the T-Rex. Frankie goes back to Maston once they get the polar bear fixed and try to convince him one more time to come with them. This is when the T-Rex, who's killed Punta up the trail, comes for Maston. And he launches the catapult, hits the T-Rex in the head with a rock, and the T-Rex just shakes it off like, what was that, a mosquito bite? And then destroys the camp and the catapult. And Frankie is like, you should come home with us. And he's like, no, I have to kill the T-Rex. So Frankie and Chuck go home. Maston just stays in dinosaur land. Like, I'm going to hunt dinosaurs with my crossbow forever. And that is the movie. And then we hear the kick-ass theme song again. This is a good movie. It's on, I believe, Plex. So I just bought it on Amazon because it's actually really good. From the 70s. And it's got good acting. I mean, the dinosaur work is what you expect from a movie from the 70s. I skipped over a lot of dinosaur battles. I skipped over a lot of dinosaur stuff. So, yeah, you got to go back and watch that. Join me next week where we will talk about the greatest thing to ever happen at Survivor Series, the gobbledygooker, and I will review the movie. What movie was I reviewing again? Oh yes, Leonard Part 6. See ya.